Many of our families work 2 or 3 jobs. They are not college educated, and they're immigrants. So it's harder for them.
Liberty and justice for all.
Because of the way the economy is so tight right now, everybody's in survival mode. Do we have enough to pay the rent this month? Do we have enough for food? Do we need to spend on any medical emergencies?
People assume that everybody has savings and checking books, but we know that especially in poor neighborhoods, that doesn't happen. People go to check cashing places. They don't have accounts. They don't think that their kids could go to college because they can't figure out, how would we ever pay for college?
For many, many years, our thought was it was remedial education that was getting in the way, that they weren't ready for college. Now we're finding it's financial insecurity that stops them from completing. And that leads to one of the most disturbing statistics I know, that only 8% of low-income students in the United States graduate 4 years of college by their mid-20s. That's a statistic we have to change, because it's not just their futures, but it's the future of this country.
It's not good enough in this day and age for kids to just graduate from high school. What are you going to do with a high school diploma? Kids are going to have to go to college to be competitive in the world economy. Traditionally, our culture has been, let's just get them to graduation and get them out the door. Well, that's not good enough in our society today. Now we have to be thinking about, okay, how are we going to instill in kids a culture that from preschool, they walk into kindergarten and whatever, and they're thinking, I'm going to graduate from college.
We really wanted to tackle work in the area of helping people save for their futures and really do what I think the experts call asset building. If you ask any parent, are you going to save for your child's college education? Everybody says, of course I'm going to, but things come up, costs spiral out of control, and we don't get around to it. So we really wanted to find a way to particularly help the low-income families in the city to save for their kids' college education. We also were very inspired by some research that has been done recently that showed that if a child grows up with a college savings account in the child's name, that child is 7 times more likely to go to college compared to a child without a similar account.
There's no silver bullet to ending poverty. But our particular task is to turn the safety net into a ladder. And we are very convinced that children's savings accounts are one of those unique initiatives that not only help break the intergenerational transfer of poverty, but also change parents' lives while they change the lives of children. Because what we've discovered is that parents will do for their children what they won't do for themselves.
When they approached me with the idea, I thought, this is too good to be true. This isn't really going to happen. Then they started to show me all the evidence of what happens when kids do have accounts, and I was really amazed, and I really, quite frankly, got very excited about it.
We needed to work with a strong financial institution that would be able to help us administer literally thousands of these accounts. We asked banks to tell us what they could do to service our needs in this program.
Thank you for backing us. Have a nice day.
Citibank, far and away, expressed the interest in really going that extra mile.
there's something appropriate that we can do with our skills as a bankers in terms of community development. We know there's a growing number of people who fall outside the formal financial system. Platforms like these that are inclusive, universal, and that can be scaled are so important to trying to address that. All our management looked at it and thought this is a great challenge and one that we should be able to achieve. One of the challenges of the program was, well, how do you create a bank account for every child entering kindergarten at 5 years old? What name would the accounts be in? What about tax? Would they be taxed? How do you create effectively a trust fund? And who would be the trustee of these children's savings? And we came to the conclusion very early on, it'd be the city of San Francisco.
So we have created this program called Kindergarten to College, which is administered by the city, and which automatically opens up a college savings account for every child who enters the San Francisco public schools at kindergarten. Nothing at all required from the family. No signatures, no forms filled out, nothing. It's absolutely automatic.
Welcome. I'm so happy to see all of you.
Bienvenidos, que está muy feliz para ver todos aquí.
So you all know that all your children have $50 college savings, and you can start putting in more, right? So they've got a great start to going to college.
So you've all received this account in the mail, so you can start saving today. The account number is on here. It won't affect public benefits. It won't affect any immigration status.
What about if we are saving the money, when they're going to college, they don't want to go to college?
These funds can be used for any educational purpose after high school, for training, for vocational education, computer, any kind of purchase related to education.
The account's tied to the child, and you can have multiple people actually. You could have your grandparents, uncles, aunts. All you need is the account number, and you can all deposit separately into the account.
There's a lot of accounts out there that parents could set up, but in tough times, they raid those accounts. This is an account that can't be raided by anyone. And to be honest with you, I think parents are more motivated now to put money in because they realize that they can't touch it, that it truly is money for their children.
One of the key first steps we're doing when we open up the accounts is we're putting an initial $50 deposit into the account, which is great. It makes the account real, but there's no way that $50 is ever going to amount to enough money to pay for college. We've actually raised private money to offer some, I think, important incentives, cash incentives to the families so they are motivated to deposit funds into the account. We'll match every deposit they make into the account, dollar for dollar, up to the first $100 they put in the account. They have a chance right off the bat to double their money, essentially.
We're also offering the Save Steady bonus. So you save a minimum of $10 every month for 6 consecutive months, and you get an additional $100 at the end of 6 months.
If you're on free and reduced lunch, we're going to add another $50 to the account. We started at 18 of our poorest schools, so just about everybody in those schools qualified for free and reduced lunch. And so that's how it gets going.
What I think is critical about the asset building approach is it basically says we're partners in this. If you can save, we'll then match your savings towards a goal that you set. Anybody who owns a house has a mortgage interest deduction, which is basically the government paying for part of their house payment. So this is just a different way for somebody who's not in a high tax bracket, who can take advantage of a tax deduction, to say, I think I'm going to save for education instead, and start that process so suddenly you see a different future.
Yeah, that's where we got it. This is money that we're using for your college education.
Mm-hmm.
College is a big school after you graduate from high school, baby.
You're in college or George?
No, Papi needs to go back and finish, sweetheart. Fresh out of high school, I went to Citi College, and I was there for about a year and a half. My mother did set up a small savings account when we moved to the U.S., but it wasn't something that as dedicated as it should have been. So are you going to make your deposit?
Yeah.
Welcome to Citibank. How can I help you today?
I'm going to make a deposit into my daughter's account.
What is your name?
Mia Vasquez Fuentes.
Thank you. Hold on just a second.
Since I opened up the account for Mia, I try to put myself where I'm depositing money into her account at least once a month.
How much would you like to put in there?
It's going to be $50 in that account.
$50, sure.
It can be as little as 10, 15, 20 bucks, or, you know, 50, 60, $100. But it's just a consistency, because in the end, that consistency is what's going to make that account grow.
And here's your receipt for that deposit.
Perfect. Thank you very, very much. Say thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Bye.
The more I can save in that account, the more I know she'll have options to choose. She'll have a base to go, okay, I want to go here. Instead of, okay, you know, did I qualify? You know, do I need financial aid? No, she has a base to already say, okay, this, I want my foot in this door.
I think we take for granted financial literacy. Not to have tools to make financial decisions is a huge limitation. Financial access is important, but without financial literacy and capability, it's not enough.
You guys are gonna write what you learned going to the bank. Yeah. Yeah. So what did you learn? Tell me.
Keep your money in the bank so you can save it for anything.
We wanted every kid in a classroom to know they were all together and experience this savings phenomenon. Then a teacher could talk about the savings accounts, knowing full well that every kid in the classroom has one.
Because if everybody in your kindergarten class has an account, that's how life should be. And suddenly it's not a question, should I save? Should I do this? But everybody does. And then you have the extra education linked to the account.
What I want to do is just review the other coins before we start our unit on spending and saving.
In most educational settings, very little is taught about basic budgeting, how to write a check, how to open a checking account, or how to evaluate the multiplicity of credit card offers that you get as soon as you're 16 or 17. And those skills, the trouble you can get in if you don't know that is so much greater than the time it takes to teach it.
Are you ready to go shopping? Yeah! Alrighty. Just make sure you have enough saved for those things that we really need later.
All the way from kindergarten, they're learning what money means and what savings means. Not only it reinforces our educational process in terms of math, but also the bigger picture is that it starts planting the seed that they're going to go to college. The data clearly shows that kids who do put money in their accounts, the likelihood of them going to college just increases tremendously. And so it does make a difference.
Welcome to our kindergarten graduation. Let's give our graduates a big round of applause. What a great year.
Omar Laguna, Valencia.
This type of spending in this type of a program, it's completely aligned with the kind of work that the city should be doing.
Leslie Avalo.
If we can have many times more kids, particularly low-income kids that grow up in our city, be successful by having a chance to get to college or vocational school, I know the city's going to benefit from this.
The return of having more kids educated, having fewer prisons, having fewer kids on the unemployment financially can have an impact not only here in San Francisco, but in California and the country. And I think that everybody ought to hop on and do this one because it's good for children and families.
And Mia Vasquez Fuentes.
I think it's really important to set high expectations right from kindergarten. Congratulations, Mia. Good job. You can do well. You can really achieve, no matter where you come from, no matter what your family background is. Everybody has that equal opportunity. Now that it's in the parents' minds, parents will remember, the students will remember, and I think that it gives an additional edge to making that dream come true.